dual stream right at the last second, so looks like everything is working. It's not quite perfect. Just give me a second here. I think I need to make this a little bit smaller on this side, especially. I think that should make sure it's not clipped off. Okay, I don't know how long it will take before it. Yeah, it's just a little bit more. I think I need to do. Right about there should be perfect. Okay, that's good enough. Okay. Now, before we begin, I'd like to implore you to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments, because the more people subscribe, the more the more the algorithm sends it out to more viewers, and those viewers can join this growing community and post tips and tricks, or they can post requests, which I'll then review and share with everyone. All right, so I'm live streaming on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, Kick. It should be working at Kick. I don't see why it's not working. And it should also be on Twitch, but both of those are saying offline for some reason. So I guess I'm not able to get it to work, but we'll work on that, and we'll eventually get it. All right, so on to the intro. So the intro says auto generate 3D web landscapes. I'm not using the social stream ninja. I'm still having a few little niggly little things with it, but I would try it again. I just didn't have time. I was trying to get Twitch and Kick at the same time, but we'll get to it. All right, so let's continue. So basically what we're going to create today is a procedural, why is that dark for some reason? We're going to generate a procedural landscape using the Blender Python API. So this will allow you to create something like infinite world generations. You can use it for maybe a game asset, or you can use it for even just a website. Maybe you just want a unique background, especially when you create your own procedure. So think of it as a procedural texture with a little twist, in that instead of just a blank slate, we are going to actually make like a world. You can make soil, you can do a lot of things you want. All right, so this is all going to be done obviously programmatically. So if you understand what procedure generation means, that means it uses math to create complex geometry. This script will automate the creation of a terrain mesh. It then applies a noise-based displacement to create the mountain. So I'm saying is we're going to add some, that's what we're going to do there. So think of it as a plane. You know, the plane is usually just flat. You can obviously put a texture on it, but it's kind of boring when you do that. It doesn't, I mean, you can do things like put bump maps and all that, and that looks fantastic, especially for bricks. What I'm saying is that when you actually do more like terrains, you just really make it pop out, and that's what we're going to do today. So I have two pieces of code here for you. Obviously the first one, if you're impatient, I have the Python code. You can simply just grab it there. And if you want the Three.js one to actually display it, it's also here. This is the HTML5 part. We're using Three.js. The reason I'm not using the that model viewer -viewer anymore is because it will not allow me to use the EXR images for lighting. So that's why I decided to say, okay, I'm a programmer, might as well just use Three.js. So you see this is what it looks like in Blender. You can simply just paste the code there, and then it will generate it here. And you can obviously tweak it in Blender. You can also export it in Blender if you wish as a GLTF file. We're using the GLB, which is the binary version. And then yeah, so that's it here. You can see the this is what it looks like, and then as you can see, this is the in the background here. This is the EXR image. It's an HDR image, and we can have our procedural texture. You see, it just makes it look like it just brings it out. You know what I mean? So we'll play with all this in a second, in a few minutes. So this is live. If I hit this play button, and then as you can see, this is the so it is live. And I'm gonna stop right here. Okay, this is good enough. I'll stop right here and let's get started. So I have a folder here As you can see, I generated this for the article. So I'm going to delete the blend file and GLB file. And this time I actually changed the EXR, the HDR image I want to use. I'm going to use the Sunrise. All these are open source, coming in the Blender, at least 4.5 and 5.0. They haven't changed. So I need to go, you know what, I write an article about this license. It's the Creative Commons license, because it's different from usually the programming licenses. I'll do that in the future. Maybe, I don't know if I'll be able to have time to do this week. I have a little bit of work to do, but what I mean, I got work from my regular job. I'm a freelance programmer. But if I do have time, I'll definitely take care of that for you guys. Alright, so with that, I'm just going to open up a terminal here, or use the console, and I'll put it up here. Okay, let's put it up here. Okay, perfect. You guys should see that. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to clean this up and clear that. Oh, I forgot to do one very important thing as well. I forgot to open up the GNOME text editor. That's another one we also need. And what I'm going to do with the GNOME text editor is I'm going to grab both of these and put them in a GNOME text editor. Perfect. Okay, so let's look at the index, the HTML file first. The usual, the doc type, and then here we have the viewport. That's set the initial height to the initial scale to 1. This is for mobile phone so that it's not too small. You just you can view it the way you want. I'm not going to talk about styling because styling is subjective. So the important part we'll start here is we use an import map for the Three.js. What we're going to use from Three.js, we're going to grab we're going to use a CDN. So we're going to grab the plain Three.js, and then we're going to grab some add-ons. The add-ons, I'll explain what we use the add-ons for later. So obviously add-ons are for stuff like this, the GLTF loader. This is to load our what do you call it? It's to load our model. And then we have the EXR loader. This is to load our HDR image, and obviously also to import orbit control. This way we can, twist, turn, and all that as well. So the plain Three.js is just here. So it allows you to. So for example, if I wasn't using this to be down here, I would not need this add-ons. But I do like using the add-ons, so that's why I put it here. Then we create the user stuff. We create a scene. We create a camera. The camera is going to be perspective. And you see it takes the inner width and inner height, and then we set the perspective to 1000. I'll give it a nice little, it'll make it look really 3D, and set the position here 888 XYZ. Then the renderer, WebGL renderer, we set anti-alias to true. We set the size to the window inner height and inner width. This means it takes up the entire width and height of the window. If you want to put some text there, you can obviously make this a little bit smaller so the text is, but if you have a fixed position, then you will need this. I mean, this is fine. You don't have to tweak around with this. And then you set the renderer, set pixel ratio, the device pixel ratio. The tone mapping, we set it to filmic tone mapping. This is required for good EXR look. And we set the exposure to 1.0. Then we append to the body our renderer DOM element. That's most likely going to be the canvas, if I'm correct. Yeah, so we're going to, there's going to be a canvas here, so that's what we're going to use. And then what else is in here? The controls is for orbital controls. So you can look here, we enable damping, damping factor 0.05, screen space spanning to true. And then after that we have the lighting. So because the lighting, we're going to use our EXR image. As you can see here, we load the EXR image, the sunrise.exr, and then environment map. All this comes from our EXR image, the background, the environment, and then we dispose it when we're done with it. Then for the loader, the GLTF, we're going to load our GLB. Remember, it's the binary version, the B. And then we put it on the scene. Then what we do is we create what is it here? We create a box from the object model. And so this way we can rotate it and do all those type of things. Then we animate it as well. And yeah, then we had an event listener. for meaning when you resize the window, it will automatically scale, upscale, downscale to fit everything there. So the camera aspect ratio has to change. They update the matrix. So this is the part here. This involves a lot of math, and this is where if you try to do this yourself, you probably make mistakes. This is why you will see most people prefer just to use libraries, for example, like Three.js. You can do it yourself, but yeah, I'm saying most likely you make mistakes. So it's better to use and also contribute to, for example, an open source project like Three.js. And you see the render set size window inner width, window height one has been resized, and we animate. So that's our HTML. Then we go to our Blender Python API file here. It's just it's just a Python file. We import the Blender Python module, the bmesh, a math, OS, and random. So the reason I get the math is because Blender by default uses Radeon. So if I want to say something like rotate 90 degrees, I want to use something like, let's say 90 degrees. So that's why I import the math here. There may be some other calculations. I'll come to those later. The OS is simply I want to save everything relative to where this Python file is. That's why I import the OS. And then for random, just to do a random, because I want this this procedural landscape to have some random things, meaning that I don't want it to be, like when you visit, like, for example, a so-called forest and the trees are perfectly lined and whatever, so it doesn't look natural. You can tell like it's artificial. So what I'm saying is, so you need some randomness. All right, and then after that we just I get the script directory. You guys have seen this before. And we have another function here. This all does is clear skin when it grabs all the objects and removes them. The reason for this is because as a Blender 5.0, the one I'm using, Blender comes with a default cube, a default light, and a default camera. So in the future, those things might be removed, or they might add more things. So it's always better to remove them, add your own. That way you don't have to like do some fancy loops to go grab everything. All right, and then so we're going to create this gravel material. Obviously it's going to be some grayish color or something like that. As you can see here, we just created, I think that's a default, so we don't even need to pass in a color here. We just pass in the name and it will set here. We don't actually need use nodes. I believe that's going to be I believe that's deprecated, so you can remove that if you wish. And then we create some nodes here for, we're going to create the procedural gravel here. So we use the shader text Voronoi, and then we have the node val to RGB, and then we use the usual principled BSDF, and then the output node here. We just put them all together, and then we use a color ramp, and you can see the numbers here. And we set the roughness to 0.9, and then after that we set some distance here and all this. You can see all these values here. So oh sorry, I forgot, some of you might be actually joining us from a what do you call it, some of you guys might be joining from the Tech Rants, the podcast. Greetings and welcome. So yeah, so I guess I should actually together the Voronoi output distance goes to the color ramp input FAC, and then we link the color ramp outputs color to the BSDF node inputs base color, and then the BSDF node output BSDF goes to the output input, which is the surface, and then we just return the material. And then this is our general logic function. So the first thing we do is we clear the scene. We set the size to 10, the subdivide to 100. Then we create a mesh. We're going to primitive grid here. And then we subdivide, as you can see. I already told you how to subdivide. Then the mesh, we get the data there. Then we use, remember that bmesh, the one we imported. So we create a new one. And then bm from mesh. And then we have a for loop here where we add some noise, and then that's why we use a random function here. We just add some random noise for the z-axis, because we don't want all the peaks to be the same height, right? So we want them to be, random. That makes it more realistic. and then again mesh update. Then we grab our gravel material. I mean, I already went over that function to create the gravel material, and then we just apply it. After that, we add a new camera. We set the location to 10, -10, and 8. And then rotation, remember this is where it is radians. You see rotate 60 degrees on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis, and on the z-axis to 45 degrees. So this is much easier just putting 60 instead of coming up with the radians. Radians, if you don't know, they're 0 to 1, right? And then after that, we add the scene, the camera, and we add a light here. It will use the sun. The location is going to be a little bit light glare, -5. Sorry, 5, -5, and 10. Obviously, X, Y, Z. And then the energy we'll put 2.0. And then here's where we save the blend file. We export the blend file. That's from the variable there. And then we also export our GLB file. You see the file path and then the export format GLB because we want it to be binary one. Export apply true and use selection false. That's it. And then in execution, we just call our generate_landscape. So that's the code there. Now I'm going to open up Blender, show you what this looks like. Okay, so I should not have opened it up like this. I should actually simply close this and close this application. I need to let me run it, then it will generate it. So on the terminal, just type blender space -b for background, space -P for Python file, and then low -poly procedural landscape dot py for obviously Python. So I press enter there, and as you can see, I'm going to zoom out so because some of you will read it. So you see it generated everything for me. You can see I'm running Blender 5.0. It says right here. And yeah, you see here, as I said, you can remove the material use nodes because that's been deprecated and it's going to be removed in Blender 6. So here we have a blend file and a GLB file. That was all done by code. So I'm going to double click on this blend file. It should open up in Blender, which is exactly as you can see here. So pretty looking, good looking procedural texture there. Okay, so one of the problems with using Wayland is, although Blender supports it, it's not it's not a first-class citizen by using the UI. So let's go to the scripting tab first. Scripting. So all you do is you click new, and then you can paste. I think I must have pressed open. I apologize. You click on new. And then you paste the code in here, and then you see now. Then you click run, it will run it, and then this is what it will generate. Now let's go back to the layout tab. Here's layout. This is what it looks like. By default, it shows the solid model. The reason it does that is so that it's fast, because some people might not have a powerful GPU. So what you do is you simply go here, and you can see right now I'm doing the solid viewport shading, but if I go to the material preview, you can see it looks very different. You can see this actually looks like gravel, right? So look at that, it looks like gravel. So you can also go to the shading tab, just to show you. Here's the shading tab. I'm going to click on the mesh, and you can see this is our, so this, oops, I'm going to click out. So here you go. This is obviously the output. So the output should be here. And then you see here we have the color ramp. And then here we have our Voronoi texture. And you can see here's our BSD node as well. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So you can see how they're all connected, right? And this is exactly like in the code. And obviously you can fool around here and make the adjustments in your code as well if you're not happy with the result. So that's Blender. So we finished with Blender. No need to save this. Now in Blender, I need a web server, HTTP server, in order to display the because we're using the CDN, so you do need a web HTTP server. So you can use any HTTP server you want. I want to use Python, so why not? Because we're using Python here. And I'll say http.server. Oops. So it's Python space -m space http.server, and then you give it a port. I'm going to use 8000. Okay. So when you see here, it says serving HTTP on 0000 port 8000, which means that I can use 0.0.0.0 on, if I'm using the workstation, I can use 127.0.0.1, I can use localhost, and the IP address of this machine, all of that will work. Now, if I want to connect this machine from another device like a phone, a tablet, a laptop, or another phone, I would have to use the IP address of this this machine. Or if it's like a local host has some DNS, you can use that as well. But make sure you use port 8000, colon 8000. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a web browser here. I'm going to use Chromium. And all I need to do is just simply go to localhost 8000. And you see, it comes up here because remember, I made the index.html. The reason I made the index.html because I didn't want to type in, a long name. So you can see here, this is what it looks like here. This is our procedural texture. And I decided to use the sunrise. You can see there, this looks really, really good. The lighting is probably not the best. I should have picked a better lighting, but I just wanted to show you. See, here we go. How, so I think that looks pretty awesome. And I said you can generate your own different types. Just the instructions are the same. Yeah, and of course you can zoom in. You see that? Zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. That's the reason I said that Three.js is fantastic for things like this. Alright, that's basically the tutorial. That's literally the tutorial right there. That's it. Alright, so let me go and what time is it now? Okay, it's been 20 minutes, so let's finish up this tutorial. Alright, so if you want to take your skills further, I have books on Amazon. You can search for Editor Jambo. The link is also in the description. I also have courses on ojamboshop.com. I have for tutorials on ojambo.com/contact, and if you need consultations, they are at ojamboservices.com/contact. Now, I do have other recommended resources. I live in a rural area, and obviously I'm in a cabin, so there's no internet here, and the service is sporadic. So I use SpaceX Starlink residential service to get high-speed internet. Like I was telling you guys before, I'm live streaming right now on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, and I was trying to do Kick and Twitch at the same time. Those latter two did not work, but it will. I will figure it out. And I also, for my phone, I use Wi-Fi calling, so that allows me to receive and send obviously voicemails, text messages, even multimedia text messages. I have to pay roaming fees. And then I also have this Honeywell heatbed personal ceramic heater, and I have a copy right here, as you can see. And it has two settings, low and high. Low is 170 watts, high is 250 watts. So this has saved me hundreds of dollars for heating. This place is heated by propane, where somebody comes in a truck and fills up 2 propane tanks. So it's really inefficient, very expensive. So this space here allows me to just heat up all I need. This space right here, I don't need to heat up the entire room or the entire cabin, just this space here, and I'm comfortable. Obviously, I dress warmly as well. So this is the Starlink one is a referral link. This one, the Honeywell heatbed personal ceramic on Amazon, that's an affiliate link. So the affiliate link, I'll get a commission, and there'll be no extra cost to you. For the referral link, I'll get 1 month free, and you'll get a massive discount. I also have the Algorithmic Serpent. If you're into psychological thrillers, it's my first novelette. You see it's right there by Editor Jambo. It's about an AI scientist who creates an AI system and loses his mind, so he has to regain control of his mind and the AI system. That's it back. So you pick it up if you have the means. It's mostly at cost. Printing and shipping for the paperback version, the one I just shown you, and for the ebook version for storage costs. My latest greatest one is Recession Business Blueprint. This is a guide to help you start a business during a recession. Right now we're in a recession and it's the best time to start a business. So I show you how you can search for business ideas. For example, one business idea I've been giving out is it's in AI. You don't need to be a programmer or you don't need to be an expert in AI, but your job could simply be like a middleman where you bring people together. For example, you think of it like an agency, right? So there's always room for that, right? So I'll give you an example. Even someone like me, when I upgraded my system, I didn't know anything about AI. I mean, I knew a little bit, but I'm saying is, in order to, for example, even the knowledge I have now, I learned all of that from literally just YouTube for my viewers. Everything I learned was actually from my viewers. It obviously helped me, pushed me in a path where I went and did my own research. But I'm saying is that it's been months. Now imagine if when I was trying to learn, there was somebody who could guide me and say, hey, you know what, this person is great, you should follow this. You know what I mean? So I would even be willing to pay for that. That's what I'm trying to say, is that there's always business opportunities during a recession. So whether it's budgeting, where to find funds, if you want to know whether the best thing is to actually get a storefront or work from home or from your garage, it doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to say is that I have you covered with the Recession Business Blueprint. Pick it up if you have the means. For all my books, you can get the ebook version for free if you have Kindle Unlimited. And then if you don't know about me, I have this bulb for every article I write on Ojambo.com. I write probably 99% of them. So I'm a freelance programmer and I'm also an author. And if you want to explore my books, my book shop page on Amazon, the link is right here. It's also in the description. If you need support for consultation services, ojamboservices.com. The link is also in the description. And if you're ready to learn, ojamboshop.com for the online courses. The link is still also in the description. If you want to contact me, the best way is to, for example, there's several ways. One is you can use a comment form. But for the comment form, all I ask is that you keep it related to the article. For example, what did we do today? We talked about Blender, we talked about procedural landscapes, we talked about Python, obviously Blender Python API, we talked about Three.js. So those are perfect topics to put in the comment section, right? And then the best way to contact me is to use the contact form, ojambo.com/contact, ojamboservices.com/contact, and ojamboshop.com/contact. And if you want to follow me, this Odyssey, Rambo, BitChute, and YouTube, where I live stream every single day. Obviously, I'm going to add Kick and Twitch. Once I get that working, I might add them here as well. Okay, now I am I didn't realize I had the outro on the entire time. Oof, that's bad, but okay. Alright, so I'm going to scroll back up here and then remind you that you should subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments, because the more people subscribe, the more this content gets pushed out to more viewers. Those viewers can join this growing community, and then they can post tips and tricks, or they can post requests, which I'll research and then I will share with everyone. For example, one of the reasons I've started doing this type of content is because I asked some of my viewers, I said, hey, because I was reviewing a game engine, which was JMonkey engine. I said, hey, do you want me to make tutorials on how to create game assets? And they said, oh yes, please do. So that's why I'm doing this as well. And then if you want to know what's upcoming, you go to jambo.com, you go to Watch Many Live Summit, you can see we've just finished this tutorial. And what we're doing tomorrow, for example, we're going to code Pyramix using a local AI. And then we're just going to take the code as is. We're not going to review it or anything, but the day after that we'll review it and we'll optimize it. So this is another reason when you see all those clickbait articles saying, oh, you don't need programmers anymore, you don't need artists. That's completely bunk. you still need them, and you'll see why. And then after that, I will show you how to install WAM 2.2 14B on a system that has low RAM and it's using a so-called non-supported GPU. I'll show you how to do all of that. And no, don't worry, I've not bought more RAM. I'm not going to buy RAM until the price goes back to normal. And I didn't buy an NVMe yet, and nobody has gifted me one, so it's in my old system. But I made one change and you guys will see the result. It's really, really, really good. It blew my mind how good it was. And then after that, I finally got that Raspberry Pi working as well. And you won't believe, I will also explain how I got it working. So that will be on this one where we'll build a private ad blocker. We're going to use Pi-hole, but you can use something like AdGuard. So I do have the AdGuard snippet there for you guys if you want to do AdGuard. So maybe I'll do a separate video for AdGuard in the future. Alright, and so that's it. So what I'm going to do now is going to quickly check the live chat to see if there's any chat requests. Odyssey, oh, I forgot to actually click on Odyssey. Is this Odyssey? I forgot to click on the Odyssey one. And then there's Rumble, there's BitChute, and then YouTube. Okay, so with that said, I will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure if I'll do a night stream today. If I because I have some work, so I'm not too sure about that. I can't guarantee it, but if I do free up some time, I'll definitely do one. Otherwise, I'll do one most likely tomorrow. I do want to do one soon. So with that, guys, I'll see you soon. Bye now.